You're listening to the WWNO Classical Network. Hi, this is Paul Mawson. Each week, we check in with Dave Walker and we find out what's going on in the wild, wacky world of museums. And Dave is host of themuseumgoer.com. Dave, welcome back.
Howdy, Paul.
All right, what do we got lined up this week?
Echoes of Innovation, the 18th installment of the series Musical Louisiana, America's Cultural Heritage, takes place at 7:30 tonight at St. Louis Cathedral. Admission is free and open to the public. Co-presented by the Louisiana Philharmonic Orchestra and the Historic New Orleans Collection, the concert this time will explore 19th century Creole composers, pairing each with the stories of free people of color from the same era who were innovators in the field of science, education, journalism, spirituality, and civil rights. It's a compelling concept, and the music, which will feature guest performances by clarinetist Doreen Ketchens, opera creole, and others, is sure to be stirring. We've mentioned this concert a couple of times, and last week detailed the WWNO Classical Network's involvement as a broadcast partner. But today I'd like to cover some of the backstory. And I promise there's a museum angle beyond HNOC's stalwart involvement in this ongoing program, which in spirit traces back more than a half century to its founders, Kemper and Leela Moore Williams. At 6 tonight at HNOC's Williams Research Center, 410 Charters, Alvin Jackson, founder of Tremai's Petite Jazz Museum, will be featured in pre-concert conversation with HNOC's star family historian, Jari Honore. Jackson conceived and curated the concert, connecting the dots between musical and cultural figures who were contemporaries during a creatively fertile time in New Orleans history. A visit to Jackson's museum at 1500 Governor Nichols Street is a journey into its founder's mission to connect map points that trace the roots of jazz from Africa through the Caribbean into New Orleans and then out to the world. Visitors hear the music he's discussing as Jackson leads them through the museum's two small rooms, dropping a turntable needle or pressing play on a series of cassette players. Jackson's personal story is entwined with the history and culture of Treme and its social aid and pleasure clubs, Black Masking Indians, Tambourine and Fan, and even the Northside Skull and Bone Gang. He's collected all kinds of cultural ephemera that he's used to build the museum's narrative, including musician contracts, portraits of musicians and composers, photos, and more.
And these concerts are always something special. And Doreen Ketchens, by the way, if you have not heard her or seen her, you must, absolutely. And the Treme Petit Jazz Museum. Now that sounds really interesting. Has that been around for a while, or how long has that been around?
A first draft blog post at hnoc.org sets the date at 2012. Jackson's background and interests are detailed in the piece, and I suggest checking it out if you're planning on attending the concert. Another historic New Orleans collection product related to this evening's events will be the information-packed full-color program that will be distributed at the cathedral. In it will be musician bios, a detailed bibliography, and a tune-by-tune explainer that knits together the connections between the composers and the highlighted historical figures, which include chemical engineer Norbert Rillieux, journalist Louis Rudinez, educator Sylvanie Williams, and others. In public programs, at 5:30 Thursday, the Newcomb Art Museum at Tulane will host a reception for its spring exhibitions, The Moss Mystique, Southern Women and Newcomb Pottery, and Making Her Mark. More at newcombartmuseum.tulane.edu. And the Cabildo will launch the new exhibit Galvez and Louisiana's Role in the American Revolution with a Spanish-themed gala at 7 p.m. Saturday. The exhibit opens to the public on Sunday. More at louisianastatemuseums.org.
Is it true, Dave, that you taught Doreen Ketchens everything she knows about clarinet? Is it? That's,
She's magical, man.
yeah, she
She's
is. She really
I
is.
when I worked in the quarter, it was like she would be there on Royal Street sometimes, and it was just you would break your stride and stand there for a while. She's wonderful.
Absolutely. And as mentioned, you can check that out at the Cathedral, or you can listen to it on the WWNO Classical Network live. And if you want any more information about anything we've talked about, check out Dave's website. That's at themuseumgoer.com. Dave, thanks so much. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks and take care.